What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the 8th album by English rock band Pink Floyd. Basically, this product is called The Dark Side of the Moon, and it came out in the winter of 1973. So the thing about this product here is this is a pretty big deal of an album within the pitches behind it. This is typically seen as one of the best albums of all time, and like the standard fare of it within the pitch as far as those fares going to happen. Definitely within the pitch, me looking it up on Wikipedia, this is an album that was the highest selling album of the 1970s, so pitches like that. You probably have to say that's probably globally within the pitch, not just in the United Kingdom or United States, but probably just worldwide within the aspects as far as saying the most prolific 70s album, definitely within the pitch. I mean, it seems pretty signature within the aspect. It's definitely one, pretty much, even the album cover is pretty notable within those pitches, typically seen as one of the greater album covers within the pitches like that. It's referred back to kind of like Michael Jackson's Thriller, and probably one of that Beatles one of those Beatles ones where they're walking on the road. The four of them are walking on the road. Some of those type pitches, formats like that. And Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. That Purple Haze might be a song, but the particular album that has Purple Haze on there. But pitches like that, some of that noteworthy type stuff. Want to get to some of these type of moments, see what more 70s bound type pitches like that. I've got some 60s, 50s albums coming, pitches like that just within those fairs. So I want to get to some of these type ones, see the prolific ones. Now this is pretty banner type album within the pitch. Me listening to it, recommend all 9 of the songs. There are actually songs in here within those pitches, so excellent type appeal within the aspect behind it. Really doesn't feel like progressive rock. Was not. I mean, I definitely see like the kind of transcended type aspect about this album, but I was not seeing as much progression about it. It may. This is definitely a lot. This is definitely one of the lot. It's definitely a lot more lofty an album within some type pitches. I just like the overall kind of area. This is a very airhead type album within pitch. I like the overall aspect as to how the fair is going to happen with it. This sort of particular tone. It's not terribly many folks I can think of apart from maybe Ozzy Osbourne and Kurt Cobain. It's not terribly many folks I can think of apart from Ozzy Osbourne and maybe Kurt Cobain pitches. It's not terribly many folks I can think of apart from Ozzy Osbourne and Kurt Cobain that kind of have like this kind of particular drifted and kind of more airhead type personality within the tone as to how it's conveyed and the candor of it kind of happens within the pitch. Definitely, when you think of like albums from the 70s, is this kind of the pitch that particular kind of drifted type tenor that you get amongst some of those type folks does not typically kind of happen. Can't think of too many airheads that have came out of like 2023 or 2025 or 2017 pitches like this. Not that there aren't. I'd say Juice WRLD was pretty close to that. I mean, in a recent era, he was pretty, I mean, not to commend the sort of aspect of getting to that pitch behind, but just the pitch that Juice WRLD kind of had that particular tone within a relative aspect. And I'd probably say that, Future within certain senses kind of gets drugged out within that sense, but he's not as much of an airhead. And it's just kind of pitched in terms of something like that particular aspect as far as just like having like the realization as far as like having the realization as far as like, I don't know what day it is, and pretty much, to be frank with you, I don't really care within some of those type aspects. It's kind of the tone, just having that relative type tone within the pitch. Maybe not full bound that kind of mentality, but just within the aspect as far as just a lot more of a drift type format, and just something that just really feel. Just definitely feels smarmy, I would say, within the tone as far as this pitch can happen. Just very much in like a glisten, a sort of glee that just kind of happens just without much kind of things. I think that's definitely a product of like the 60s and 70s pitches like that, but then just thinking as to how that kind of manifested in like past like the 2000s pitch like that, I just question where the fair kind of was. But I've given albums from the 2000s, 2010s pitches like that. I give them 10s all the time, so it's just the pitch as far as saying I do see the capital kind of appeal of this album is just the pitch as far as saying that this particular mentality and mindset of this album is refreshing, I'd say, within the pitch. It's just good type tone. Now look after it. In a lot of senses, this is kind of an instrumental type album. It's not as full bound, but it's just kind of pitched that there's some lengthier songs on here that kind of have the aspect of this kind of having some bleed outs kind of within the pitch, kind of like Spotify type music full bound before. This album is definitely a good, nice one that translates to Spotify pretty well within the pitches behind it. It's something to kind of have for like trip out type sessions within the format as far as just letting the songs crank as far as those pitches would kind of happen. And it makes me question, like, Pink Floyd, this is probably one of their capital albums that they were known for, but I do question how like Wish You Were Here from 1975 went, if that was like a 5-star album, or if they have any other further type ones, just the pitch behind. I mean, this is one that usually garners like a lot of attention. Like I said, it's like Michael Jackson's Thriller and AC/DC's Back in Black or Highway to Hell, some of those type pitches. But it's just kind of fair as far as saying whether or not they have other type ones that are as good within that form. It just makes me question the fair. But just being able losing track of the point I was trying to say here is something I was kind of saying with that, but just the pitch of being a real tripped out type album within the format behind it, I would say within the aspect. I think the point I was trying to make is just some of these songs are kind of lengthier within the aspect, but it's kind of just more of like more or less like an instrumental type album within the pitch, but it's not a full bound instrumental, but it's just kind of the pitch that there are some songs on here like what's the one like On the Run that doesn't particularly have vocals on there, and then there's like another one pretty much like Any Color You Like's kind of within those aspects as well. But it is kind of trippy within the aspect. There's a couple songs that remind me of like early traces like the 80s as far as what's going to happen, just that kind of Tron like surfing pitches like that kind of goes along with it within some of those type of then some of those type of appeals, just considering that this came out in pretty early years of the 70s. Good type pitch for that. Yeah, there are 2 singles off this project. Both of these were lengthier within the pitch, but there's some good type appeals. I feel like, I definitely say Money feels like a staple song from the 70s as far as this first going to happen. Definitely like the appeal behind it. So Money is like a lazy kind of usual day slag to kind of get here. Just some commerce about that. Golden kind of snack run and munchies type pitches like that for some of those type fares. Just kind of blaze up, I would definitely say within this song. Definitely have some zigzags going pitches like that. And this is like some routine kind of adapts with your pals pitches like that. Money is definitely some summer heat, but it's just kind of aspect. This is more drifting within the aspect as far as the tone kind of definitely more drifting with an aspect behind it, just really kind of feeling lofty just within the pitch. I mean, it's very lethargic within the tone as far as those aspects would kind of happen, just amidst the aspect, feeling very sloth or slug-like within the tone, just kind of slow movements, pitches like that is kind of the aspect of just kind of almost sleepwalking, kind of zombified, but it's just the pitch as far as just having that particular pep. I mean, it's within the product like the Day Fair, and this particular album kind of has like a makeshift kind of aspect about it, but it's just kind of within the tone of just kind of a lot of these songs are more stationed. A lot of these songs are more stationed for summer heat past like 4:45 pitches like that. Pretty much between 4:45 to about maybe 7:45. Just the sunset kind of drifting with an aspect, just like orange skies, pink skies, purple skies pitches like that. So it's just within the tone as far as getting some of those type ones, but it's just a good embrace. Definitely having like, and these are not bad days. I feel like the makeshift touch slag is just kind of, it's typical kind of middle fingers raised, like, things pissed me off today, but just within the format, just feeling chipper because I have some smokes nearby, pitches like that, kind of within the tone behind it. It's kind of aspects as far as getting towards it. So there's some songs like Money on here, which is a good aspect because it's a pretty banner type song. I'd say like Brain Damage kind of has that particular appeal. Time is another one that's like that, and probably at least one other one. Breathe. Say Breathe in the Air is another one within some of those pitches. So if you like the song Money, there's definitely more songs like within those pitches. Definitely some excellent type appeal. Us and Them is the second single. This came out a little bit ways later after this particular album came out. Good type pitch. Another staple here, I'd have to say. This is a lengthier type song, but these are pretty popular. Good aspects here. It's like a pink skies kind of drifting, kind of get to some sunset period and vibe set within the tone as far as this pitch can happen by vibe set. Just kind of a romantic tinge, just the aspect. It's kind of a more slow burn, kind of more of like a slow burn and sultry, kind of when you think of like a song by AC/DC, like You Shook Me All Night Long, some of those type pitches behind it. It's kind of like a sluggish, kind of romantic, kind of retirement type song within the pitch. So just the product of just the aspect. Money is a little bit more recreational within the fair, just like standard for all, getting goodies, like getting checks mixed, some of those type fares within a gas station, some of those type fares, but Us and Them kind of has more Beasties in mind, it's more neighborhood saunter within pitches like that. It's a little bit more kind of it's more smoky and pitches like that, I'd say, within the tone. So good type of aspect. Yeah, just be able to say I recommend every song on here, minus the song Speak to Me, which is the first song you hear, which is not really a song. It's just kind of static and pitches like that. It's not really much to this song. It's just kind of pitch. But other than that, this album gets a 10 out of 10. So just to say, to go down the list with some of these. Breathe in the Air is like a nice one here. It's like a stock kind of dope day after moments that I'd say within the pitches behind it. Just glazing kind of definitely good for some glazing pitches like that. Just some zigzag music, I would definitely say. Just typical kind of roll ups pitches like that. Just signature within the appeal as to how that particular aspect works for like 70s bound type pitches like that. And this is definitely like some feeling fine kind of fun as far as this first going to happen. It's kind of that same tone. Goes as like a good combo with money, just the continued aspects of that particular tone of it. It's more rooted in like the aspect of 545 pitches like that is good. So there's a good series of these songs off this album, like Breathe in the Air and Money, some of those type pitches. So it's just a consistent type format for just having like that weekday kind of embrace pitches like that. I like the fair, just getting some smoke fashions, going through standard work. I mean, this is more of like an album that just kind of welcomes you. It's just kind of the aspect of just getting back towards the usual type tone. Really like a good reliever. This is kind of not to recommend. This is kind of like your medication. This is like some excellent kind of evening loud pack as far as that kind of particular happens. Just getting like a tone of just switching to like the format of this particular album just nails the tone of being able to have like. I mean, the thing about this album is it's not like the flip mode. This is not as much of like a flip mode type album. When you think of going through like the lunch rush and like the noon fair and the summer heat pitches like that, it's not so much 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, but kind of there's like a transit type moment that kind of goes along with it where it's not necessarily 4:45 as things are getting done pitches like that, but pretty much once it's 5:45, just the transit between pretty much the format of just getting done with work, getting back home pitches like that, freshening up, getting towards the tone, and just sparking up a few, that particular transit. But once you sparked up and then you figure out what these next moments are going to have, once you're kind of in simp type mode and kind of the format where things are starting to kick in, some of those type formats, that's where this album starts to really blister in as far as what's first going to happen. So it's just to miss the pitch. If you're still kind of shuffled and kind of out of sorts from like lunch rush or just standard fare like the work commerce, but once things have kind of gotten towards the aspect of having like the switch up within those tones, it really starts to hit in. So it's this kind of concept. Wouldn't play this 5 minutes after work is done, but probably the pitch as far as saying within the fair, once things have kind of shed off that particular sheen a little bit, that's kind of where this album starts to hit in. It's this great evening type fare, not just 5:45, but pretty much while the sun is out, but it's not work hours within the pitch. It's some of those type tangents, but I look after it. I'd say On the Run is a nice one, as well as like an electro kind of rev up. I'd have to say here, just a red hot kind of get crunk, definitely within those tones, but it's kind of a primer after some day slag just within the pitch behind it. On the Run is like an electro kind of rev up. I'd have to say here, just some red hot kind of get crunk primers pitches like that. Just after day slag kind of excitement, I'd say within some type pitches. Just the format of dislike. This is probably the closest thing to like a club song on this particular album. Pitches like that, On the Run, and then Any Color You Like. These are more instrumental type songs, but they do have the format of not so much being. I question the format of getting like a more disco type song. I don't know if disco is full been around in like 73 pitches like that. It was probably in its earlier type stages, but this is the pitch as far as saying to something that kind of has like that spark as far as having something dance related or a little bit more social. This one is just not as transcended. It's this kind of pitch. There are some moments where they are kind of awake a little bit. It's kind of the tone of just some spruce ups, some good Friday joy to kind of get here. So I say that's just kind of the concept of some of those type ones. Any Color You Like goes along with that one pretty well. It's like a neon kind of early bird kind of 80s electro surfing kind of get within these aspects here. Symbol kind of glitz out, cruising. I'd say about this album is just pretty airy like I was saying. So just the format as far as just talking about just the tone of just being an airhead pitch like that. It's kind of being an airhead pitches like that. It's kind of within the product of being in motion, some of that fares, but it's not as much real like direction with it as far as those fares kind of happen. Just kind of the pitch as far as going places, but just kind of more in the aspect of just time killing pitches like that. It's kind of easy appreciating your ride. Some of those type of appeals are just the traffic of just out and about within a standard type pitch, or just something a little bit more neo surfing pitches like that. The Great Gig in the Sky is a quality one as well. It's like a typical kind of somberish kind of sky gaze, I'd have to say here. Pitches like that. Just some night park kind of smoke fest. Some of those type fares that just kind of romantic kind of glitz here to kind of get. This one goes pretty well with Us and Them. I'd have to say just more amidst the fashion and just like wondering if there's aliens or pitches like that. Just wondering UFOs. Some of those type pitches within the fair. Just talking about like the Bermuda Triangle. Some of those type pitches within the fair behind it. Typical kind of trip out type sessions within the fair as far as like smoke fest. Symbol kind of more local boundness in a more outdoor type sense, so it's a good type pitch for that. Brain Damage is a quality one here. This is another one that goes along with Breathe in the Air and Money. Some of those type pitches, like a late day kind of calm. You just kind of get here to some days gab pitches like that. And by gab, I mean convos, some of those particular type fairs conversations with your pals. Just hella trippy kind of tokes with some of that socialized pitches like that. Just kind of sitting on drops, figuring out what's going to happen within some of those type moments. It's kind of some night map within the fair. I mean, more or less, I mean, this song is kind of lazy within pitch, but it's also kind of the fair. I mean, this album may not have like the full bound kind of spark of like something. This album may not have like the full bound kind of dance pounder that's a real kind of ravenous like night blitzer, but it does have the moments as far as like the standard routine kind of excitement. It's just the pitch. Not to say like it's a bad concept within the fact that it doesn't. It's just kind of the pitch as far as saying didn't seem like there were a ton of like I don't. It's kind of here and there with getting turn up kind of moments. It's kind of here and there with getting turn up type moments out of the 70s, seemingly within those aspects. When you think of moments like Staying Alive or some of those type ones within the fair, not sure is full bound within the pitch, but I think this kind of aspect, there's some good type appeals for like the spark or just having some primers for like the aspect of some good toke type fair, getting some zigzags going with your pals, some of those type pitches, easy kind of socialized and memes, some of those type products, but just also within the tone, just figuring out how the night's going to roll out as far as this pitch comes. So good type fair, Brain Damage, good, nice one for some of that type fair. Just another good helping of songs like Money, which is a real excellent single, pitches like that. Eclipse is a quality one. It's like a glazed but festive kind of social tabloid to kind of get here. This is the last song you hear on this album. This kind of like a ride out to like the fair as far as this pitch kind of happen. It's like some usual noise kind of get here, just goodies, pitches like that. Have some goodies with your pals. Pizza out and about. Pizza like pizza, a couple Budweisers, just some standard gab and memes, pitches like that. I had to say, just good for some ride outs as far as chunking up the deuce, like, hey, I'm out. Some of those type pitches, see you in a few days, pitches like that, or just the fair, just like getting ready to roll out and head out to like a getting ready to roll out and head to like a pub or something like that. Just figure out how the rest of the night's going to go. Some of those type pitches that I had to say. It's a good type fair. And then Time is a quality song. Now, this is a real nice one. This is probably one of the more popular songs off the album according to Spotify. This one's pretty close to being on par with Money. I feel like it seems like the most popular song off this album according to Spotify is either, well, Breathe in the Air is actually pretty popular. There's a number of ones on here. Money is the most popular song with almost 600 million plays, but Time and Breathe in the Air is some nice ones as well, which basically those particular songs just continue like the standard product of this more 5 o'clock p.m. type dredge, which is excellent aspects to this. This song, Time, has some good drama about it. It kind of feels like a movie scene kind of intro in like a western type format within those particular tones behind it. It's a good type for kind of getting that within the kind of like the way Michael Jackson did with Beat It, some of those type pitches, just that same sort of dramatic type fashion. But it's like a good combo with Money, I had to say here, like I was saying, within pitches like that. Some further kind of 5 o'clock p.m. kind of day dredge, just the aspect of some unwind within those contexts behind it. Basic like some local saunter, I'd say just kind of drugstore and pub type traffic within the pitches behind it. So just more local or on foot, just pitches like that, or just the aspect of just getting some goodies, figuring out how things are going to happen within the residential type sense. It's having some standard gab pitches like that amidst the outing point of just like summer heat and some of those particular just orange skies kind of driftings within pitches. Summer orange skies kind of drifting and day bleed as far as what's first going to happen. So good type pitch. So yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10, easy enough to kind of say. I mean, I think within the aspect, for the most part, you know, the crowd is basically well on point with this particular album. I think the aspect behind it, this being one of the best albums of all time, it has the excellent packaging and just being able to have these banner type appeals, just nailing these moments on the head. This is pretty much like a trailblazer, pitches like that, did a lot for like particular sounds. The 70s was a pretty trippy decade within some type products, so it makes me wonder just other type ones. If you like this album, what would be some albums to go for within that context, of just furthering that particular type motion with it? It'd be the same sort of fashion. Me questioning if Pink Floyd themselves were able to make albums as good as this one within those particular appeals. They probably did, but it's just the pitch as far as saying this one that catches like the lion's share of it, so good type appeals. The social score is going to go ahead and get a 10 out of 10 as well. I mean, I feel like this being the 4th highest selling album of all time, I think the social score basically speaks for itself, considering that they're only, you know, this a Whitney Houston album, a Michael Jackson album, and an AC/DC album that sold more than this one pretty much as far back as like 1973 as far as those pitch counts. So it's a good type of appeal within that. I do like these motions. Like I said, Money's a real classic 70s song, pitches like that. Us and Them's another real classic within those pitches. Just two banner songs out of the 70s as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's more amidst like the day drifting pitches like that. Just that evening kind of commerce and just like a good good unwind once you get past like the transit type moments, like the war shift, and then like the moments of and then just the moments of shifting the tides as far as this first going to happen, just getting some straightening going, and then having the aspect of getting towards like and then getting towards the aspect of having evening mode and some of those type fares within the pitch, like the second half of the day as far as those fares going to have some good type pitch for that particular product. Now, it may not have as much a full-blown kind of night venue blitzer pitches like that within some of those type products, but it does have basically the product to dislike the transit time modes. Pretty much between, like I was saying, probably about 5:30 to 8:30 pitches like this, the fare between some of those type moments, of just figuring out, am I just going to smoke a bit, have like some snacks and goodies and socialize pitches like that, and then just figuring out just within the product as far as what's going to happen within those fares. But it's not like these moments are dull to the point where you're not going to enjoy them. I mean, the smoke fest that you have with like the 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. type hours, it's not like these are not good moments. It's kind of the pitch. Maybe that's all you need to do is this kind of pitch as far as saying, this kind of fair is just that particular transit type era, just between like the sun setting type motions, pitches like that. Look for some good type tones with classic type appeal. So in terms of future, I'm not really as full-bound sure what Pink Floyd's been up to, realizing that this was their 8th album. And it came out in 1973, so it's within the pitch. I assume that pretty much, I would have to say they've probably been around for over 60 years, something like that. So it's within the pitch, probably saying it's less likely, but they probably had projects throughout the 70s, 80s, something like that. But I'd say within those, so we'll get to some more of these. We'll see if they have more classics, but it's definitely a banner type album, easy enough to see. It's one of the greatest, highest selling albums of all time, and definite staple.